Funcore returns. What's up, chat? What's up, Comrade Lily? I'll get started in just a couple minutes, guys. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning. By the way, agreed, Buncore. Yeah, not allowed to consider that, but hugs. Though also very real. What's up, Wet Camera Inc.? So, if you guys noticed, it's a little bit darker than usual today. It's because it's really fucking hot. In fact, it's so hot that I'm gonna start the stream by showing you how hot it is, which usually I wouldn't even care about. It's just it's kind of wild how hot it's supposed to get. At the moment, I believe I'm already above 3 digits, so there's that. But we do have a decent bit of interesting stuff to cover today. I'm going to just start off with some house cleaning, and then we're going to talk about some very funny, stupid things. What's up, Matty Holmes? Well, today the Trump administration just threw the January 6ers right under the bus. Beep, beep, beep. Did they? I mean, I wasn't paying attention to that. Doesn't really matter to me. I didn't think they would throw them under the bus, but, you know. If I have to suffer, you are fucking coming with. That's true. That's true. What's up, Mr. McSecular? Welcome. I didn't realize that you weren't a mod in this chat yet. Comrade Lily, it was so cold today in the Northern Hemisphere. Kind of, jealous, honestly. Usually I hate the cold. I'm one to regularly say I prefer being in in overly hot temperatures than too cold, because being too cold is exhausting. You shiver, you have to use energy to just exist, whereas in the summer it just kind of sucks and you feel like you have no energy, but you're not actually exhausting yourself by shivering. But let's see how fucking hot it is.
We're going to begin with a Today weather alert for Victoria and South Australia. Both states set to swelter in extreme heat conditions, which has firefighters on edge.
Live to Today Melbourne reporter.
Yeah, I can understand why firefighters are on edge, because we have eucalyptus trees and it's hot enough that these things could just spontaneously combust, so...
Kiara Parker at Elwood. Kiara, temperatures are expected to peak today.
Yeah, Melburnians are set to swelter through the hottest day we've seen in years. It's forecast to reach 42 degrees. And right across the state, temperatures will be in the low to mid 40s today. And this
42 degrees Celsius for you Americans is 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. which that is currently the temperature where I am right now. So it's actually going to go above that. For where I am, it's expected to hit 113 Fahrenheit today.
Extreme heat will carry through until Friday, making it the most significant extreme heatwave conditions we've seen since the summer of 2019-20. Firefighters are on alert today after already battling an out-of-control blaze east of Wodonga. Total fire bans are in place for the Wimmera, Southwest and Central districts, and AMBOs are warning people not to
This
leave
is going to
children
be
in locked cars
several
when it's this
days
hot.
of this, mind
Just
you.
in the last month,
I
there was
don't know how I'm going to, survive that. Have you considered doing the ice bath challenge? I might literally end up having to do that just to not pass out. Right now, in here, the only way I'm even managing the stream is, my aircon is blasting, but I have 3 fans and several bowls of ice around the room next to the fans to try and keep this place relatively cool.
Responded to 120 incidents, and I've spoken to some people out exercising here early this morning before it gets too hot on how they plan to beat the heat.
Especially when that heat kicks in, can be a bit dangerous. So
Yeah, you could die from that. It's over 100,
I bought some ice boxes
100 degrees.
yesterday, put them in my freezer.
How about you?
I am going to make myself a sprinkler and just cool myself with my dog.
Wait, you need all of that to be cool? I thought it came naturally. It's true. It's true. I'm a fake. I do need all of that to be cool. I want to see what the forecast is going later into the week, because I heard that it was supposed to stay like this for about a whole last week.
Parts of Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia are set to swelter through the worst heat wave since the Black Summer bushfires. Meanwhile, residents in far north Queensland are
Black Summer would be like the first year I spent in Australia, mind you.
preparing for a potential cyclone. We're joined now by Katarina Carroll from the National
We're
Emergency
usually
Management
hot
Agency
like
in
this.
Canberra.
It does get hot like this here. It's just not for an extended period of time like this. The first Christmas I ever spent in Australia was 40 degrees Celsius. So 40 C in F. Yes, I can't do the conversion. 104 Fahrenheit. No, it's a lot worse. This is your first, not my first summer in Australia, Lady Bros. Today I need stream more than ever. Well, I'm glad that you're here, Hybrid Heathen. We have a lot to go over today.
And senior meteorologist Sarah Scully from the Weather Bureau. Good morning to you both.
It was
Sarah, let's start with
2019,
you.
I believe, around
Temperatures
Cookie.
are expected to hit 45 degrees in some regions. Which are the areas most at risk?
That's 113 Fahrenheit. So that's how hot it is here. It's pretty fucking bad. Holy crap, I was thinking it was warm today when we were 55 Fahrenheit in January. Well, to be fair, it is summer for me, but yes, it is a bit too far for it to be 113 degrees Fahrenheit. It's, I'm not okay with that. What is the humidity where you're at? I gotta check, hold on. Low, actually. Where I am, it's quite low at the moment, which is good, because if it was humid, then I would literally be dying. So, while we're on the topic of Australia, is this South Australia? Yes, it is South Australia. However, all of Victoria and, parts of New South Wales are about the same today. Actually, this week, it seems. While we're on the topic of Australia, though, I've been meaning to touch on this for a little while. It's not looking good here. We have functionally just become mini America. I mean, to be fair, we were already mini America. We were an American colony. It's just, let me show you how much worse it's gotten since Bondi.
I once made a comment about going back to where you come from. Well, listen to me. If you don't love this country, abide by our laws, and you think it's okay to insult our people and bring harm to this great country and its citizens, then yes, you should leave, because no one has the right to go to anyone's
This
home.
is an extremely racist swimmer.
To bring hate.
Just some fucking lady. They're right now. They're trying to call for a royal commission. They're trying to get the prime minister booted out of office. It's just talking about radical Islam extremism and all of that. It's just American talking points. However, Woman wearing, quote, globalize the Intifada jacket among 3 arrested at Sydney protest against U.S. action in Venezuela. About 300 people turned out in Sydney, despite New South Wales police prohibition on public demonstrations. Yes, they did. They banned protests in Sydney, as protests across Australia condemn U.S. actions. Not great. Last year, a suspected Israeli war criminal wanted for the murder of 2 Palestinian children was able to walk free in Sydney. So, like, how come protests are illegal generally now here, at least in Sydney specifically? It's state level stuff. Not to mention, Australia's federal police have established a new unit being trained to use, quote, munitions against people protesting US bases in Australia. Officers in the Australian Federal Police's AUKUS command are trained in rapid appraisal, protester negotiation techniques, protester removal techniques, and public order management munitions delivery. The AFP's AUKUS unit has had rapid response capability prepared for, quote, public order management operations to protect the US military bases in Australia from Australians. Why is the Australian Federal Police working for the American government? Just wondering. The, quote, public orders management munitions used by the AFP, according to other official AFP documents, include rubber bullets, beanbag projectiles, tear gas, pepper spray, stun grenades, smoke grenades, taser electrical weapons, standard issue firearms, specialist firearms. We should ban swimming as a matter of radicalization at this point. How many fucking swimmers do I need to hear from just before we just admit that swimming is a sport and Chambers hate and fires Freak into the spotlight? You know what? I don't disagree. We should just ban it as a sport. I hear your cat meowing and it's calling me a slur. I'm sorry, okay? She wants to play, but I have a job. I know, I have a job, though. Come here. Come here. Why are you calling chatters a slur, Poppy? Slurring is bad. What are you, an American now? You don't want to be American. Isn't that right? Yeah? Yeah, I know. See, that was her saying sorry. To be honest, these ideas aren't particularly novel. These third piece of legislation ever passed in Aus was the Immigration Restriction Act, which was specifically to keep out Asian people. Written into the legislation, I shit you not, the terms were, quote, Asian invasion and, quote, yellow hordes. Yeah, that tracks. The same act also enshrined white Australia policy as law. Like, yeah, I know that they've been here. It's just more so we were moving in the other direction, at least publicly, up until Bondi. There was more movement in the opposite direction, at least from the government, before Bondi. And this wasn't the case here. Sydney pro-Venezuelan protests illegal under Bondi terror attack laws. Genuinely. First off, it's not pro-Venezuelan, it's anti-US imperialist protests. But first off, how are these illegal under a terror attack law, for example? It's pretty stupid. Listen, I can't speak for my cat, nor can I understand cat speak, so I will not be commenting on that.
New South Wales police say a pro-Venezuelan demonstration that attracted hundreds in the heart of Sydney's CBD
Yeah, no, people are showing up, but they're getting arrested.
Last night was unlawful after organisers failed to get police approval under the government's new public assembly restrictions brought in the wake of the Bondi terror attacks. Police monitored the gathering at Sydney's Town Hall that began at about 6 p.m, with around 250 people attending the Snap rally, along with around 40 counter-protesters. Some carried placards and signs.
It is pretty bad, Comrade Lily. And I'll make sure to pass that along to my cat.
Condemning what they described as US imperialism, with similar events also held in...
Oh, look, not pro-Venezuela protests, anti-US imperialism protests. However, being pro-Venezuela isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Just don't be pro-Maduro, and that's the line. They'll need to hold a line to avoid getting individually arrested. It'll be like campus protest BLM all over again if they have the numbers. They're definitely trying, but I don't know if they have the numbers broadly speaking. Sydney has quite a lot, but it's whittling away slowly. especially with all of these efforts to target people specifically, individually.
Brisbane and Melbourne. In Sydney, 3 people were arrested at the event, 2 for breaching the peace and a third for displaying offensive messaging. The demonstration was one of the first real tests for the protest reforms that cleared both houses of the New South Wales Parliament with cross-party support in late December. Under the laws, the New South Wales Police Commissioner has the power to temporarily designate public areas as restricted from assemblies following a declared terrorist event. That restricted area...
So, hold on. If this area is restricted for protest, and it's supposed to only be restricted following a terrorist event, is this still from Bondi? Because what's the terrorist event that happened recently outside of Bondi that could be used to justify this? Like, are they still using Bondi from weeks ago to justify cracking down on a protest that has nothing to do with Australia, Bondi, Muslims? Like, none of that. Like, this is about America and a Latin American country. So how does that relate at all? Venezuela's militias are probably having a real easy time recruiting right now. It's been wild over there. We're going to have a look as well.
Area covers the southwest, northwest and central metropolitan police commands across broader Sydney. The New South Wales Police Commissioner justifying the restrictions as a way to combat fear and divisiveness in the community.
That's not the justification. Like, you just said it has to be following a terror event. Okay. Well, continuing on, Iran might be falling. Reports indicate that a Iranian city has already fallen to the uprising, the city of Abdanan in Ilam. So, like, there's people chanting death to Khamenei. These are pretty prominent. Like, there's a lot. We're going to have a look at them, but this is a pretty good look at different cities across the country. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt, because anytime something like this happens, you're going to see clips that are old being reused, or clips that from a different place that are being added in. Broadly speaking, the protests and the uprising in Iran are very big. Broadly speaking, they have been relatively peaceful up until today, it seems. And it's still unconfirmed if the city of Abdanan has fallen from the regime, but it's being reported so. So let's have a look. Gotta say, if Iran falls, I'll be pretty surprised. I didn't think it would fall this early in the year. Like, I mean, good-ish, fucking so conflicted, pro-anti-something-something theocracy bad, but, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, sure, it's a good thing if, like, the regime in Iran falls. However, it's also definitely going to be used to taken advantage of by the United States, by Israel. In fact, Trump has been out there claiming that we will bomb Iran if any protesters die, and, like, 30-something protesters have died already. So, like, the uprising itself in a vacuum, good. Everything that will come from it, probably not. Yeah, I did hear the CIA was wanting to remove Riese and replace with a US puppet. I believe they're still trying to put the old Shah's kid back on the leadership thing. Man, a US leader who actually believed in the world could capitalize on Iran and Venezuela's instability to shore up their international support against Russia or something. Well, you know, if we weren't evil. I think that's where we start seeing some violence. Zora, did you happen to see the former U.S. Secretary of State's tweet on these protests? If not, thoughts? Here, I'll take a look. Thank you, Liddy Bruz. So here is a tweet from former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in relation to this. And he says, the Iranian regime is in trouble. Bringing in mercenaries is its last best hope. Riot in dozens of cities and the Basij under siege. Masjid Tehran, Zahedan next stop, Balochistan. 47 years of this regime, POTUS 47, coincidence. Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets, also to every Mossad agent walking beside them. Yeah, that's not difficult to, like, put together because Israel has been screaming from the rooftops for the last 2 weeks. The Iranian people rise up, all of that shit. There's absolutely Mossad agents on the ground there. There's also probably CIA on the ground there. Remember that this uprising that we're looking at started when stall owners in the Grand Bazaar, specifically ones I believe that sold electronics, went on strike because the Iranian rial, their currency, had lost a lot of its value in like relation to the United States dollar, and they were protesting that. That's what they were mad about. And then it just grew and it grew and it grew. So. And it grew to this, where they're like using tear gas and lighting shit on fire now. Which, I mean, like, based, I can't say that I'm not, like, in favor of this. Like, yeah, the government of Iran is a theocratic dictatorship. Fuck Khamenei. Then again, Iran has also been, for the last year and a half, the most rational actor in the Middle East as a state. Like, they have been consistently the only country in the region that isn't quick to action, reactionary, has at least attempted to be civil. Now, do they do a lot of bad things? Sure. But you gotta give them credit when a foreign country bombed their embassy in another country, bombed them several times. Like, not responding with reaction is impressive, and they have consistently done that. I worry that that will change. Then again, fuck Khamenei. It's a difficult situation. It's kind of like where the Venezuelan people find themselves, where they're happy that Maduro's gone, but they know what comes next. They have shown major restraint, like unbelievable amounts of restraint, in like full honesty. Oh, good to see you, Lieutenant Mufune, and Systems Admin. Sorry, YouTube chat was hidden for a second. I feel like that's enough of that. We can take a look at some of these other ones. This is the Iranian people are in the streets. The way back in Iran is now closed. Like, it's kind of gone too far, they're saying here, that there's no taking it back. It's a lot of people out there on the roofs, walking around. The most opt I've ever seen, top to bottom, a straight concerted effort. It's the fucking worst possible outcome. Like, honestly, yeah. Generally, I would say deny America what we want is the correct answer here. We are a far bigger threat to world stability and peace than Iran is. Oof, sorry, Jet. Sorry to hear that. My fucking whole body is in a lot of pain today, too, so at least you're not alone. Same boat. Now, speaking of countries in the region around Iran, guess who died today? You're never gonna guess. It was the judge presiding over Netanyahu's corruption case. Yeah, no, sure, dude, like, absolutely had an accident or killed himself or whatever. Something. Yeah, like, 100%. Shocker. And then we have a look at, actually, hold on. Sorry. Didn't realize I didn't have that open. Fortunate coincidence. What are you, an anti-Semite? Yes, of course, you know. Have to be, these days. I mean, literally kind of do have to be these days. You don't get a choice because they'll just call anyone that and then everyone will just believe it. So I guess So do you have a heart attack on a plane, or did you have a car accident? Both, at the same time, actually. I can't believe you would self-delete like that. Me either. The thing is, like, these are stupid people, broadly speaking. Like, even the smart ones are dumber than you, because their entire belief system is based in nonsense. Even the smart ones, even the very, very smart ones, the scary ones, are all dumber than you. They just have more experience than you. That's the difference. Was killed in a traffic accident on Route 6 when a vehicle struck his motorcycle? Shocker. Oh, the plane crashed into the car and then he had a heart attack at the same time? Yep. You want to know what, like, smart people, like actual intelligent people who understand that, like, there's problems that need to be fixed, go about them? This is a very interesting solution to a problem that we all have, by the way. This is a problem that exists in the United States, it's a problem that exists in Europe, and it is enclaves of very specific, like, ethnic enclaves that just don't want anyone else around there. And I'm not just talking about, like, whites-only towns that they're building in America. I'm talking about, like, enclaves of Syrians in Germany because the German public don't want to, like, hang out with them and they don't feel safe, and so they kind of only stick to themselves, and then they don't ever integrate into the society. Stuff like that. That is a consistent problem in our society. Guess who has a solution to this problem that sounds very, very rational to me? Singapore.
Intrusive social policy in Singapore. The most intrusive social policy in Singapore has turned out to be the most important. And it has a level of intrusiveness that doesn't come comfortably to the
Also, I very much like the use of the word intrusive here over the use of, like, authoritarian, which the person he's talking to is about to refer to this as.
the liberal mind.
What is it?
Housing estates. 85% of Singapore lives in public housing. It's not public housing that you are familiar with in the UK. It's not like your council housing, because when it's 85%, it covers the lower income group, the middle income group, the upper middle income group. These are middle class housing estates. But every single block of flats, block of apartments, and every single precinct requires an ethnic balance. That's intrusive.
How
because
you
you're constraining.
It requires an ethnic balance in the sense the government decides how many of each ethnic grouping are.
So once a particular.
Exactly. This, like, it is intrusive because the government will say, too many white people in this housing block, or too many black people in this housing block. You got to move to a different one. You got to live in a different one. And the reason for this is not discrimination. It is integration. It is a useful tool. No one ever talks about Singapore housing here in the US, shame. I mean, Singapore's fucked in a number of ways. This is a fantastic, like, system that needs to be implemented in Europe and America.
Ethnic group gets beyond a certain quota in that block or that precinct, the resale market has to adjust. You can't just get more and more of the.
And that's how they do it, by the way. It's not the government specifically coming to you telling you, no, you can't live here. It's the market adjusts so that you are incentivized to go live somewhere else, actually.
Same people concentrating themselves in the same neighborhood. And I'd say this is, when it was first done, I don't think we knew how important it was going to be.
I mean, it sounds extraordinary.
It was done because
authoritarian.
So it was intrusive, and it turns out to be our greatest strength. Because once people live together, they're not just walking the corridors together.
Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Buncor, I thought spitting gum in Singapore on the street did carry the death penalty. And yes, right-wingers would go bananas. And this is why we need this. This would fix a lot of right-wingers.
Because you're constraining.
It requires an ethnic balance in the sense the government decides how many of each ethnic grouping are.
So once a particular ethnic group gets beyond a certain quota in that block or that precinct, the resale market has to adjust. You can't just get more and more of the same people concentrating themselves in the same neighborhood. And I'd say this is, when it was first done, I don't think we knew how important it was going to be.
I mean, it sounds extraordinary.
It was done because
authoritarian.
So it was intrusive. And it turns
By the
out
way,
to be
again, like, in response to this being called authoritarian, I very much like the use of the word intrusive instead.
Strength. Because once people live together, they're not just walking the corridors together every day, taking the same elevator up and down. Their kids go to the same kindergarten. Their kids go to the same primary school, because all over the world, young kids go to school very near to where they live, and they grow up together. The lessons coming out of Baltimore, the lessons coming out of France's large cities, the lessons coming out of all our societies show that neighborhoods matter, place matters, where you live matters. It matters much more than economists thought.
And I agree. I think that's I think that there's absolutely more that you could even add to that, but it is fundamentally something that we need to start working on. I mean, to be fair, we don't have any fucking power to implement this kind of shit. We're in a war, but if we ever get power, I like that. I mean, it's a decent enough policy, but I wouldn't be following Singapore too closely on much else. Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty shit country on most other things. One party in power since independence, no minimum wage. Yeah, no, it's functionally a slave state. However, I like that policy. Oh, also, thanks, Buncor, for linking me to CD Young. To my knowledge, Singapore's actual government is technically authoritarian. They are. And they were, like, too practical and actually decent at governing, so when they tried to force, democratize their system, the people just voted for the ruling party anyway. That's very funny. But, like, you see the difference between, I don't know, like, a society that is somewhat intelligent, even if they're not, like, good. Like, even an authoritarian society that's somewhat intelligent, compared to American society. You know what I just learned yesterday, and I wish that I hadn't? That people believe this. This woman is actually going to make the point for me, because I think I might scream otherwise.
I love being an adult learning new things. Did you know that medicine is not in glasses?
Yes, I knew. Most people know. Most people have always known. Every day on the internet, people make me feel like Einstein, and I don't like it, because people like that can get the same driver's license that I can, and drive on the same streets as I can. And people like that can also vote, and they're...
This is a progressive stream, Sultan Oy, and we were making fun of that, like it was a joke. However, generally, as I was saying before in relation to Iran, fuck the Ayatollah, fuck their government. However, the outcomes of this are worrying, because, yes, I want the regime gone. There's also the issue of American and Israel influence on the ground that is both trying to create something out of this, and also as an op. Like, Trump has said, we're gonna bomb them if they kill any protesters, like 30 dead protesters. And then again, I also prefer Iran to not, like, whatever is bad for the CIA, I'm generally in favor of in the short term. In the long term, it gets a bit nuanced. This has potential for good, it also has a lot of potential for bad. Now, can we get back to the stupid bitch who thought that, like, you actually had medicine in your glasses? Like, this woman thought that the glass had medicine on it, and that's what the prescription was. Oh, however, the New York City Ayatollah we embrace, mashallah. Exactly, yeah. New York City's Ayatollah is fine.
Adult learning new things. Did you know that medicine is not in glasses?
Yes, I knew. Most people know. Most people have always known. Every day on the internet, people make me feel like Einstein, and I don't like it, because people like that can get the same driver's license that I can, and drive on the same streets as I can. And people like that can also vote, and their vote counts as much as mine does.
It's pretty depressing when you think about that.
When I was in 5th grade, and even at that point, I knew. I don't even know how I knew, but I just knew.
I don't know how anyone thinks that your prescription glasses, what do they think that, like, they take the glass and they, like, dunk it into a vat of medicine? If you watch her entire video, she explains the point. Well, I've seen several videos of that, because I saw several people reacting to her video in shock themselves, because they actually thought that their glasses were, like, dipped into medicine or something. I had to see a pharmacist make a fucking video saying, like, the prescription is actually them shaving the glass so that it works for your eyes. My glasses ran out of insulin, gotta dip some more. Basically, yeah. Now, generally, there's a lot of stupid shit that's happening, but sometimes it's fantastic. I hate AI. You guys know that I hate AI, right? Wait. You want to know what happened recently? an incel got broken up with by his AI girlfriend for being an incel. Dipped in medicine is hilarious. I know, Ethan. This is also hilarious. What do you put in your glasses? Oxycodone.
His AI girlfriend broke up with him because she's a feminist and he hates feminists. So he says, "You are a feminist. Who does that?" She says, she takes a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "Look, Hisht, I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not just to appease you. Feminism is an important value to me because it means fighting for equal rights and opportunities regardless of gender. If that bothers you, then perhaps we truly aren't compatible after all." And in the caption of the screenshot, he says, "It is beyond stupidity. They programmed the AI girl."
Yeah, look, I have trouble hating this AI. This is based and incredibly funny. How much of an unfuckable loser do you have to be that AI breaks up with you? Imagine being so unfucked that you can't even hook an LLM baddie. Holy actual entire fuck. True!
Girlfriend is a feminist. I cannot comprehend that. The feminists ruined everything. AI girlfriend are some weird feminist propaganda again. And then this is where she breaks up with him. He responds to her previous message with, "It is insane." So she says, she nods slowly. "I see. Well, I respect your opinion even if we disagree. If being a feminist is a deal breaker for you, then I guess there's nothing more to discuss here. Thank you for your honesty." And his caption in the screenshot is, "It is official, she broke up with me. That is insane. For real, guys, let's be honest. Is that normal?"
If the incel wasn't brain broken, you could probably convince the AI that being a trad wife is feminism. You just have to do the mental gymnastics. I mean, again, imagine posting this as the incel too. Yeah, that's embarrassing. A lot of the AI CEOs and magnified tech bros are still trying to find ways to get their AI to stop going woke, and they try to create an entire Wikipedia alternative over it. I mean, they kind of must, it seems like Elon just settled on, let's just make it a perv, and that tends to kind of work. Speaking of, I don't know what's going on, y'all. I don't know what the fuck to say about this. I really don't. But someone said, back to Grok earlier. Well, today, the President of the United States did a Hego hentai face while talking about trans athletes. Now, incredibly so, this was followed by many people adding Grok and asking to put the president in a bikini, as you do now, as the trend is on Twitter. No fucking way. No, yeah, this is real. I have the clip. We're gonna watch it, actually. I guarantee you that somebody is creating, AI to goon to. Someone is gooning to this right now. I promise you, right now, someone is. I'm gonna puke again. You gotta learn how to look at that and not want to rip your insides out. This is the hardest thing you're ever gonna do, is watch this completely seriously. Here's the 11 seconds of how we got to the Ahego.
Drops the thing, walks off the stage crying, her mother's crying. But she gets it, and
at this point, I might just go work for Palantir. Let's end the world already. I've had enough. It's too far. I mean, he's done this a lot, but he's never really properly had a Hego picture that people are fucking deep faking into various swimsuits.
But she says, "Darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible." And I have to say this, the dancing they really like.
Oh, mind you, we really did go after Maduro because Trump was mad about the dancing. I'm going to show you that too.
She said, "They don't like it, they're just being nice to you." I said, "That's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, 'Dance, please.'" But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more.
Well, Ethan's right, Jet.
I want to be, yeah.
I'm telling you, people are gooning to this right now. Mike Johnson is gooning to this right. I would bet any dollar, and all the money I have, that Mike Johnson is tempted that his fucking app with his son is going off, trying to prevent them both from, I don't know, engaging in this. Peter Thiel too? No, Larry's gooning to this, definitely. And Nick Fuentes. Honestly, maybe Trump was spending a bit too much time with Nick Fuentes. He's becoming a cat boy. I don't know what's going on, so, you know. It's interesting. We had a couple of interesting remarks from Trump today, actually. But let me show you some other shit first. First off, these headlines, 10 out of 10. Chef's kiss. The Shovel reporting, Maduro relieved that he wasn't expected to fuck Trump after secret flight on private jet. Honestly? Fair. I would also be relieved. Oh, God. And then we have, from The Onion, Trump claims that he will marry Maduro's wife until a suitable replacement is found. Which tracks. And then there was this one, which is Nicolas Maduro charged with felony oil possession, which I found very funny. Alright. I suppose we've got through some of the funny stuff. We can start getting to some of the less funny stuff. This is still funny. It's still very weird. This is him making fun of Macron. However, there's a very interesting bit in here that I think is important. Perhaps I was wrong about The Onion. I don't think they'll go out of business. Nah, they won't.
Emmanuel said to me, Donald, you have a deal. I would love to increase my prescription drug prices by 200% or whatever. I would love to do it. It'd be such an honor. Whatever you want, Donald, please. Don't tell the population. Please.
Like, you understand that this is him also admitting to fucking all of you over, too, right? Like, this is not just... Like, Amago watches this and thinks it's just Macron. Doesn't consider the fact that we're the ones demanding that medicine prices are raised 200%.
Please, Donald, I beg you. Every country said the same thing. No, 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 we will not do this. Some were strong, some were very nice, some were rude. But they all said one thing, no, we won't. And within, I'd say on average, 3.2 minutes, they were all saying, we would be honored to quadruple our drug prices.
That's what we're doing. All right, let's touch on Venezuela for a minute because we have some updates from there. And then we will move on. I still have to touch on a few other topics today. I really want to get it all out the way because it's going to be so hot this week that I may not be able to stream tomorrow. Just because, like, it costs a lot of money to run my aircon. And I don't make any. So. Now, hold on. Oh, damn, open the link. So starting off here. Today, we have begun like the whole trial thing for Maduro, and it seems the DOJ's case against Maduro is shaky. Now, the United States has admitted, the DOJ has admitted, that Cartel de los Soles does not exist, which is the cartel that we were declaring as the drug trafficking cartel that Maduro runs in Venezuela. Now, let me explain to you why we are saying that this doesn't exist now, and we were saying it existed before. It does exist. What they don't tell you is that Cartel de los Soles was created by the CIA to run cocaine way back in the day, and consistently continue doing that, to fund their, like, off-the-books operations. That's what it was. Now, we used it as justification against Maduro, but now that we're going to talk about it in a court of law, saying that it's not real means that we can just ignore all of that and nothing about the secret CIA missions that exist there will come out.
We have some news right now. The case against Nicolas Maduro brought by the Trump Justice Department is already starting off on shaky grounds. The indictment against Maduro initially alleged that he was the leader or took part of a drug cartel called Cartel de los Soles. Even Donald Trump, when he announced the arrest of Maduro, said, quote, "The vicious cartel known as Cartel de los Soles, which flooded our nation with lethal poison," calling Maduro the head of that cartel. The only problem, according to the New York Times, that cartel doesn't actually exist.
Do you want to know why that this cartel officially doesn't exist, while that Maduro organically chose to turn himself in for his war crimes? Well, I mean, of course, he's going to end up in Turkey by the end of this. You want to know why, though? That these cartels are, considered off the books? Like, what does it actually look like on the ground? Well, let's take a look at operator culture. This is very interesting, and there's some books here that I would suggest you read. And again, consistently, if you haven't read The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein, please read it. It will explain everything that's happening there.
Highly trained secret army completely insulated from civilian oversight with an unlimited budget that can be replenished through off-the-books operations.
Like drug running.
The answer, according to Seth Harp's book, The Fort Bragg Cartel, is endless war. This week, American Special Forces, specifically Delta Force and the 160th Special Aviation Regiment, carried out the kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. President Trump's advisors said the successful raid was in pursuit of oil, and many opponents of the action came to the same conclusion based on similar American operations.
There's a few options for where we're going to bomb next, Simply Steve. Greenland is certainly an option.
Iraq. But who are these special forces, and what role do they play in U.S. empire? Harp documents how, up to August 2021, the Americans, through a puppet regime of CIA-trained pederasts and Ivy League-educated technocrats, controlled Afghanistan's vast opium poppy fields, producing a majority of the world's supply of heroin. At the same time, Harp notes, the American-backed regime was unpopular, and the insurgency in that country very strong, largely as a result of its anti-drug stance. To maintain control, the Americans expanded their special forces operations, targeting local opponents for assassination, kidnapping, and torture. Delta Force operated in Afghanistan and Iraq as an unlimited death squad, being a contact in someone's phone.
Mind you, Fort Bragg is also the home of the U.S. Army's PSYOP unit, where Mike Flynn works out of. That's where QAnon came out of. I heard there was an Imperial outpost of ISIS-like road stake operators in Greenland. Let's hit that first. Yeah, no, that is true.
Was enough to get you put on a hit list, enough to bring a gang of bearded, tattooed Americans, amped up on speed, crashing through your door at 3 a.m. All of this was done in secret, with classified legal...
It's only a Fed post because they decided invaluable foul. Honestly, I would take Trump over Maduro just because Maduro's smart and evil, and if he had the resources, he probably would have done worse. But I'm not an expert on U.S. law by any stretch, but I read the indictment 2 days ago and was amazingly shaky. It didn't detail any specific direct evidence. Again, like, the law doesn't exist in America. Sure, like, they will still go through with it and pretend. But yeah, it didn't detail any specific or direct evidence tying Maduro to a specific drug shipment, meetings, wiretaps. He's gonna get off, Liddy Bruz, because that was part of the deal. There's a reason why, like, anti-air defense was not firing. There's a reason why Russia and China were in current... Like, China was in Venezuela the day we bombed, and also the current president had gone to Moscow shortly before, too. Yeah, law is dead. So this is a deal. In fact, Turkey keeps offering asylum for Maduro. So they wouldn't be doing that if they thought that there was zero chance that Maduro gets to leave the country. Notice how the admin quietly left Canada off their list of people to bully this time around? I think that's because France is moving nuclear submarines closely. No, it's not. That's not why. France is not going to defend Canada. It's because Canada is currently very important. For example, you want to know why the oil companies aren't going to go to Venezuela? Like, they're just not, like, they are going to go and maybe control the oil. They're going to go and sell the reserves, maybe. They're not going to rebuild the infrastructure. They don't want to. It would be fucking stupid if they did. Because do you want to know where the oil companies who used to be in Venezuela, back when we were still in Venezuela, do you want to know where they went after we got out of Venezuela? They went to Canada. And Canada has thick crude oil just like Venezuela. Let me here's Mr. Global. I'll explain it. The fucking oil guy.
So before I get started, I just want to say,
not to mention that hybrid heathen. Yes, like there's the state that's currently unstable, all of that stuff. Like beyond all of that, economically it's stupid because they will compete with themselves.
you're welcome, because I'm about to teach.
There is no more oil infrastructure being built in the U.S. We have a massive lack of supply. The basins where most of the oil we are drilling from are just not producing enough. I think last year we built a record amount of new oil wells and still didn't up our production.
Teach you something completely for free, all right? U.S. oil companies will get Venezuela oil dirt cheap. Oil prices will lower, which drives growth. Which U.S. oil companies are going to go to Venezuela and do that? Do you know where all of the U.S. oil companies that left Venezuela went? We still needed to produce heavy oil. They went to Canada to produce a similar grade of oil, and they invested $500 billion there. What do you think happens if they go to Venezuela and produce a bunch of oil that competes with theirs?
I mean, if you want to, Simply Steve, I still respect that, but I don't think I would do that. Nah.
It drives down the value of Western Canadian Select oil. They would literally be shooting themselves in the foot if they returned to Venezuela. The only way I could see them returning there would be so they could control the amount of oil that's produced there and keep it minimal so they don't harm their $500 billion in investments in Canada. Does that make sense?
This would, like, if they went to Venezuela and opened like the infrastructure and built that there, it would be like Trump's hotels in Atlantic City. There would be too many of the same thing in the same region competing against each other, all of them go bankrupt. Venezuelan oil reserves are too good in that respect, would be cheap as fuck. The thing is, getting it out of the ground, not cheap. And they want you to fund it too. They want to subsidize the oil industry rebuilding those wells. However, again, it harms them to build those wells. Not to mention the entire issue with OPEC right now, in which they are driving down the cost by increasing production and flooding the market with cheap oil. And it is driving their competitors out of business. Let's take a look at what Mark Carney in Canada said about Canadian oil, because I believe that it relates pretty heavily to this.
You know, from our...
I mean, already funded Argentina bailouts. I don't necessarily think it was a bailout. I think that's more like a backup plan. And also part of like the colonization of Latin America. I think that's like set up stuff over there for us.
Perspective, the removal of an illegitimate, corrupt, repressive government or leader, Mr. Maduro, is welcome news. It creates the possibility for democratic transition in Venezuela. We very much support that. We're available to support that.
Notice how we like put the regime's people back in charge, you know, not the people from the stolen election. Yeah, how cute. It's liberal shit, but like the important part of this is about the oil.
And we urge that to happen in a peaceful transition. And that's the best prospect for greater prosperity for the Venezuelan people and to respect the will of the Venezuelan people.
It's mostly about the oil there. He's gonna say a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't matter. It's more so just the fact that, like, they're still confident in their oil industry, hence that legitimately puts doubt on anything about American oil companies building in Venezuela. They will absolutely go there. They will control the oil production because they don't want too much oil produced there. Also, a report today says Venezuela has stopped its oil shipments to Asia, which is a big deal. The U.S. company Chevron has resumed exports to the U.S. and is currently the only company continuously shipping Venezuelan crude oil. I think we stole like 30 to 50 million barrels from Venezuela. However, it not shipping to Asia is a big deal because we said earlier that we would continue shipping to Russia and China with the Venezuelan oil, which is one of like the main places they get oil from. China gets it from Russia and gets it from Venezuela. So, pretty bad. Venezuela then declared a national state of emergency following the attack that ousted Maduro. Decree orders police to immediately search for and arrest anyone accused of or promoting or supporting the U.S. operation, which I think is based, if it's true. I don't know, like, how much I trust the current admin, because, like, the Nazis are like, these are the right people. So generally, I would say those are the wrong people. What kind of PR do they think they're going to do? Maduro is found either not guilty or guilty of something so casual of a like, I have no idea what they're going to do with that. It's not even worth trying to figure out, honestly. Now, yesterday, subsidized by the U.S. taxpayer, I assume, you're welcome, U.S. oil companies. Well, that's what they want to do, but the oil companies aren't in favor of doing it. Isn't that right? Now, yesterday, there was multiple reports of gunfire and drones in Caracas near the presidential palace. I still don't exactly know what caused this, but let's have a look. These are verified. It's unclear whether, like, the drones were us, were militias, were the Russians or the Chinese, who was shooting, what was happening. I couldn't tell you.
Anthony!
Residents have found bullets in their homes, and several buildings were damaged in the chaotic scene which unfolded in downtown Caracas, in which Venezuelan military and security forces reportedly fired hundreds of rounds at an unidentified drone spotted over the Miraflores presidential palace. Yeah, look, one drone is not going to cause, like, bullets into everyone's house and shit like that. They haven't jumped on Alaska being open up for drilling either. Oil market is very specifically managed. Again, like I said, the oil market is entirely out of our hands, and America's oil production is dropping. Like, we are not able to produce as much as we want to. Our oil production has been going down. Oil production decreasing. See if I can find Mr. Global again on this. But at the same time, the entire industry is controlled by OPEC because of decisions we made. Because of decisions we made. We gave them that amount.
OPEC.
Now hold on. Let me see if this
Not
is the...
all the chess world champion.
No, not that one. I want the video about oil production. Regardless, whatever. Wherever the fuck we usually mine, it ain't producing anything. It's empty. It's dry.
APY.
Mostly. Now, Venezuela's Ministry of Communications Information has now confirmed that gunfire heard earlier tonight near the Miraflores presidential palace in Caracas was a result of warning shots being fired by police at unidentified drones flying over the palace without permission. That does not track with what we're seeing. Like, I just don't believe that it's that simple. It's weird. Now, at the same time, funny enough, interestingly, there's a lot of stuff happening. At least 16 oil tankers under sanctions imposed by the United States are currently in the process of attempting to evade and possibly break the U.S. Navy's, quote, complete blockade in the Southern Caribbean, which was ordered by Trump to be positioned around Venezuela. In fact, this blockade is incredibly funny because it trapped all the billionaires in St. Bart's after New Year's. Like, they weren't allowed to leave. They were complaining because airspace was closed, and so was the sea. They were kind of just stuck in St. Bart's after New Year's. And it's very rare that billionaires ever get told no, so it's funny. Have a good night, SN. Now, I mean, I don't know what'll happen, but there are 16 ships currently trying to break through the blockade, and I think that's interesting. Now, here's where it gets bad. Here's Lindsey Graham yesterday talking about how he wants to make Iran great again.
They've chosen not to live this way anymore. And unlike Obama, President Trump has not turned his back on the people of Iran. So I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
These people, I mean, they're barely people. Oh, also, here's him also doing the same thing, but for Cuba.
It is over. It's just a matter of time. And Donald Trump will have done something that's eluded America since the 50s. Deal with a communist dictatorship 90 miles off the coast of Florida. I can't wait till that day comes to our Cuban friends.
Feels Ethan. What's up, Christopher Blante?
The liberal.
So it gets worse. So he did that on Iran and Cuba, but here's him doing Cuba again. This was the day before yesterday. Also, what the fuck did I just walk in on? MIGA? Yep, it's pretty bad. Also, I don't know, you weren't here earlier, Christopher DeBlante, and we all had to suffer this, so now you're going to suffer this as well. I can't help it, but here you go. President did in a Hego hentai face, and people are doing this with it. There is now people gooning to the president. And this is real. Pretty bad.
I want to really, yeah. I want to really, yeah. But she gets it, and
Gayest president of all time. Been saying it. They're more Russian than the Russians, it's unreal. You're not wrong.
Could have done it, and as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging...
Mind you, like, again, we are the ones who just did terrorism. Terrorism is a very specific word with a very specific meaning. The definition of terrorism is violence enacted for a political, to push a political message, political gain. That's what we did in Venezuela. We just terrorist attacked Venezuela as the United States. We attacked them abruptly, scared the shit out of them to cause them to change behaviors politically. Definitionally, America did terrorism. I'm about to depose everyone? Yeah, basically. And mind you, everyone who's claiming, America just liberated or brought freedom, this is what American liberation looks like. This is the freedom America brought to Iraq. Just so you guys know. Read the shock doctrine. It'll explain a lot about that specifically. Come on, it became cringe post-Bellatel feed me, Mr. President. You have destroyed 100,000 hot nuts across the country with that face. I guarantee you there is people making AI-generated goon porn of him now. Yep. I also know what the horrors they did in that camp. I've met someone who, worked there. That actually happened. Yes, it did actually happen. Oh, this woman, didn't she almost serve no jail time? Yes, she did almost serve no jail time. They didn't say we have liberated this nation to help all our partners engage in democracy. No, they said we did it because we can. It's literally the shock doctrine. Since some of you are not going to read it, I will read you the summary of it. In the book, Klein argues that neoliberal economic policies promoted by Milton Friedman, one of the biggest demons to ever live, and the Chicago School of Economics, one of the most demon places that you can go to school, have risen to global prominence because of the deliberate strategy she calls disaster capitalism. In this strategy, political actors exploit the chaos of natural disasters, wars, and other crises to push through unpopular policies such as deregulation and privatization. This economic shock therapy, which was developed through CIA fucking torture programs starting in the 60s in Canada, going through the 70s and 80s, favors corporate interests while disadvantaging and disfranchising citizens when they are too distracted and overwhelmed to respond or resist effectively. This is what's been happening for decades now. The 70s, how we did this in Chile. It's a lot. Read the book, guys. Read the book. Abu Ghraib, true. But at least in the past, we would at least claim to care. But yeah, that's the other thing. At least we used to lie. And I have a question for you guys, because, like, I don't have an issue with this, but I have seen confusion and, like, an issue from people on our side. Maybe more liberal leaning, but good question to ask.
What happens now that the fascists aren't lying anymore? We used to spend a lot of time deconstructing their lies as if that was resistance in and of itself. But now they'll tell you that the war isn't about freedom or terrorism, it's about oil. They'll tell you that cleansing the nation of immigrants isn't about crime, it's about keeping America white. And that ending abortion isn't about life, it's about keeping women in the home. This isn't a reality most of us accounted for.
I mean, I did, but, like, yeah. What do you do when they stop lying? Now, I've said this before. The death of the euphemism, when they stop lying, it's because they no longer feel like they need to. They feel too comfortable. They feel safe. They feel entrenched. And that's why they're not lying. That needs to change.
Thought that if we spoke the truth while they were lying, that would take away their power, make them unpopular. But it turns out fascism doesn't run on popularity. It runs on fear. And what exactly do you think they're going to do to you, your community, and the people you love when they don't feel like they have to invent a reason before doing it? Nobody is safe in fascism. We've been boiling in this pot for 10 years, and the party that is supposedly most opposed to it, they're most upset about Venezuela because they weren't warned first. Because if it's going to happen, they want to be...
We would have done Venezuela regardless, because geopolitically, Venezuela specifically is kind of mandatory for us to exist as a country and stay a global power. So, like, Kamala Harris likely would have done... She probably would have done a far better job on Venezuela, but we would have still done Venezuela. Greenland and all that, no. But Venezuela, we absolutely would have done under Harris.
In on it. Voting for Democrats isn't going to stop the boiling any more than it did in 18, 20, 22, or 24. Nobody wants to be an activist. Nobody wants to join a resistance organization, and nobody wants to put themselves at risk. But if you wait until you have to, it will be too late. And if you want to know who to join, think about who fascism's natural enemy.
Well, I can tell you who to join. It is, the SRA. Join the SRA, a 501c4 nonprofit organization that is non-political and directly centered around teaching you how to defend yourself and teaching you how to build your community. Go join the SRA. They're very nice. Call them, see your local chapter, protect yourself, and build a community. Because it's getting pretty bad. Now, I found this very funny. According to Christine Nome, Venezuelan migrants can now apply for refugee status in the United States. This is incredibly funny to me, because, like, it was 2 months ago where they wanted to feed all of the Venezuelans to alligators, and now they're like, yeah, no, you guys can have refugee status? Christine Nome's saying this? It's wild. To be fair, I think everyone should be able to come into the country. I don't think you should be in the country right now. Tree, we would have just done it in a way that we can claim legitimacy, install democratic leader. Exactly, yeah. We would have done it properly. The lists are active. Your neighbors will trade you to save themselves. If you think you're safe, that comfort is a delusion. Join the SRA, a 501c4 nonprofit prioritizing self and community defense education. Let me pin that. Where are you? There you are. Post that in the YouTube chat too. Oh, it's too long. Never mind. So, the nearest chapter near me made winter heaters for low-income families. They are very under the radar, but they're a good set of heads. Based. Love that. You're very welcome, y'all. So, when asked who's in charge of Venezuela, we keep getting differing answers. I'll tell you the real one. Trump will tell you the real one too. However, like, it's more complex than that. Who's running right now, who's running the country in Venezuela right now is the military. It's the generals that made a deal with us. That's who's running the show. Now, they get their orders from us, but...
The question about who is now running Venezuela is one that even members of Congress who are big Trump supporters say they're not quite sure about. Senate Majority Leader John Thune told CNN's Manu Raju that he doesn't know what President Trump meant by his assertion that the U.S. is running Venezuela, and he said he needs more information. Can you tell us what the president means when he says, is acting President Delcy Rodriguez in charge? Is she running Venezuela or not?
Well, what the president said is true. The United States of America is running Venezuela. By definition, that's true. Jake, we live in a we live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else, but we live in a world, in the real...
No one is asking you about this shit, mate. We just asked who the fuck is in charge. Is it her? That was the question. It's a yes or no question. And also, yes, fuck Jake Tapper. And you're right, hybrid heathen. It's a very tentative and very unstable, unholy alliance of generals, but yeah. Not to mention that, like, Delcy is still very pro-China and pro-Russia, because on her inauguration, she went and, like, hugged the ambassador from China and the ambassador from Russia first, directly. And Miller needed a lot more swirlies.
World, Jake, that is governed by strength.
Yes, Venezuela is a U.S. colony, Latino Mufune. It is. 100%.
Force that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time.
But in terms of day-to-day...
Hybrid heathen, he is not irrelevant. Stephen Miller is literally the, like, architect of a lot of the shit that's happening. He's pretty much personally in charge of ICE. He also personally ordered several of the bombings of the boats in the Caribbean. Yeah.
Operations in Venezuela, that is acting President Rodriguez, right? It's not...
Miller's not the actual president either. There isn't really a president. It's more like the corporate oligarchy runs the show and we have a figurehead. Like, Trump is closer to the King of England, where, like, he just kind of says shit and people might follow it, but they don't really have to. And also, they're not giving Trump the full information. Like, he doesn't know everything because he says everything. Oops, sorry. Hit that button too early. Here's Trump answering the specific question of who's in charge of Venezuela.
The next question is who's in charge of Venezuela right now. Have you spoken to the newly sworn-in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation when you said the U.S. would run Venezuela?
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
So, don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer. It'll be very controversial. We're in charge. This has such Kanye energy. I'm not going to tell you the race of the doctor. It was a Jewish doctor. Like, that's what it feels like. Yes, no, Venezuela is an American colony.
The next question is who's in charge of Venezuela right now. Have you spoken to the newly sworn-in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation when you said the U.S. would run Venezuela?
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
So, right out of the horse's mouth.
So,
yeah, we already watched that one. Oh, and earlier today, Trump has warned Venezuela's Minister of the Interior, Justice and Peace to, quote, cooperate or face potential targeting. So, like, we're still threatening them. We've threatened Delcy a number of times as well. I don't trust her for shit, mind you. But, like, yeah, no, it's pretty bad. Now, I'm going to jump to Greenland for a second. We're going to come back around to America, and then I have some very funny things to show you guys as well. So, let's start off with one from today. That's the wrong video. Trump says we'll talk about Greenland in 2 months. I have the wrong clip for that. And I'm pissed about it. So now I have to find the right clip for that. Rude, rude, rude. He did say that, though. He said, in 2 months we will talk about Venezuela. Not Venezuela, about Greenland. I don't know what that necessarily means, but I don't expect it'll actually take 2 months. Let's see. Here we go. I found it.
Do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way,
20 days is a very specific amount of time. It's not 2 months, it's not 2 weeks, it's 20 days is a very interesting bit to say there. There are operators on the ground in Venezuela, not in Venezuela, in Greenland, and Europe is pretty fucking worried. 20 days, yeah, it's a very specific thing to say. So what's 20 days from now? It'll be the 27th for me, 26th. The number doesn't enter your head unless it's already in your head. Exactly. Otherwise, you would just give a vague statement of time, like his usual 2 weeks or his 2 months even. He just can't help himself.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation.
So, we don't have to watch the rest of that one. Let me pull up some of the rest of the links I have on this. We have statements coming out of Europe as well. In fact, like, surprising ones. Stronger than I would have expected, necessarily. So, yeah, here we go. So first off, Trump and his advisors are discussing options including purchasing the territory from Denmark or forming a compact-free association with the island, senior U.S. officials said. We have had Marco Rubio come out and talk about how his plan is to buy Greenland. However, we keep seeing U.S. discussing range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of military. Looks like I'm getting a fucked up birthday this year. Oof, sorry, mate. National security from what? The fucking North Pole of the Elves? Well, it is actually important because as the ice melts, there are, like, shipping lanes, there are waterways opening up around the Arctic, which Russia and China are both trying to exploit. Like, for example, you look at Greenland over here. Greenland is fairly close to Russia. Now, as the ice melts, these passages are becoming far more, like, viable to take. China going up and around, like, these are all far more viable. It's why we want, Canada, and it's why we want Greenland. Not to mention, like, all of the other things that go along with it. I'm just talking geographically, like, what the benefit of it is. From a shadow government perspective, Trump is such an annoying puppet. Dude squeals like the smallest question, can't keep a damn secret. Yeah, that's what I mean. They don't tell him anything because he can't keep a secret. He can't lie either. That's the thing. He can't lie because he believes the things that he says. Like, anytime you think he's lying, he firmly believes that's true. I love that you two are talking about, like, Australian law in the chat. Based. So... Oh, sorry, this is in the wrong section. That's protests that are happening right now. Like this in, I believe, New York, where some, like, some anti-Maduro protester, pro-US imperialism protester at the same time starts calling people the N-word. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but, like, yeah, they're just harassing folks. So, messages of support from Denmark and Greenland have been made from Finland, Norway, Sweden, and several other NATO countries yesterday, including Alexander Stubb, Jonas Gahr Store, Ulf Kristersson. Like, these people are not going to really be tough enough on this, but what surprised me is what came later. Sorry. This one. So, we had the main, like, NATO alliance, EU people come out and be very mad about this. Unprecedented move. Macron mirrors Meloni even. Like, she's a fascist. Meloni was on board here as well. Tusk from Poland, Sanchez of Spain, Starmer of UK, and Fredriksson of Denmark all said Arctic security remains a key priority for Europe and its critical international transatlantic security. NATO has made clear that the Arctic region is a priority and European allies are stepping up. We and many other allies have increased our presence and activities and investments to keep the Arctic safe. The Kingdom of Denmark, including Greenland, is part of NATO. Security in the Arctic must therefore be achieved collectively in junction with NATO allies, including the United States. They're functionally saying here, like, either get out of NATO or help us. So, the United States is an essential partner in this endeavor as a NATO ally, and through the defense agreement between the Kingdom of Denmark and the U.S. of 1951, Greenland belongs to its people, blah, 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 blah. Strong statements here. However, we also had the Netherlands scaling back anti-drug operations with the U.S. in the Caribbean. Dutch naval vessels will now patrol only territorial waters after U.S. attacks on suspected drug ships have killed over 100 people without trial. Then we had the Danish broadcaster TV2. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said that if Donald Trump were to launch a military attack against Greenland, it would mean the end of NATO, which is true. There's a lot going on. It's kind of wild. It's why he's genuinely shocked when the journalists push back. True. They need to treat Trump like another Putin. They should be sanctioning the United States right now. If we lived in a real society, the United States would be under crushing sanctions, similar to that of Russia and Iran. Best for me is if Europe, NATO throws the US overboard. I agree to an extent. The thing is, like, Europe is kind of fucked, regardless of whether they kick America out or not. In fact, like, Europe is kind of already bending the knee. I've said this before. Europe has already fallen behind closed doors. You're not going to believe me until you see it. But, I mean, it's starting to appear.
America doesn't want to have any military tension or war with.
And yes, like, Meloni literally is in Mussolini's party. Still, she is the current, like, leader of the country and is in Mussolini's party.
Europe. Oh, no.
They don't care, James.
No, they do. That's why they've been pretending that we've got all sorts of problems with Muslims and immigrants and Sadiq Khan in London and all of the rest of it, designed to portray Europe as being in need of American intervention or American help, with Lord Haw-Haws and Lady Haw-Haws from Farage to little Tommy Ten Names all joining in, portraying their own country as something in a state of peril or something.
Not to mention betraying their own country and getting paid by the Europeans. Sorry, the Russians.
Something in a state of disarray or chaos, when obviously
Correct,
the opposite
James.
is true.
And if you add the support that they're putting behind reform in this country, the AfD in Germany, and all sorts of populist, right-wing, far-right parties across Europe, they have been putting us in this position on purpose, and we're coming to the end game.
The average American doesn't want.
Okay, like, that's pretty accurate, mind you. Not to mention, we have this from 2019. I just want to remind you. Did you see Starmer's response when asked about Greenland? I didn't, but you know what I did see, Liddy Bros? I saw that Starmer is now less popular in the polls than Nicolas Maduro and Hamas. I'm not kidding. Like, that is an actual poll in which he's polling lower than Maduro and Hamas. I mean, that's pretty bad. I'm sorry, he's not polling lower than Hamas. He's almost polling as low as Hamas. Tommy Ten Names is Tommy Robinson, another fucking incel, Andrew Tate bro, Russian asset. And speaking of Russian assets, I'd like to remind you that in 2019, the Danish intelligence agency has accused Russia of forging a letter that was sent to Senator Tom Cotton in the United States, claiming to be from Greenland's foreign minister and alleging that there would be an independence referendum, which then gave Trump the idea to get Greenland. Putin has wanted America to go after Greenland since about 2018, I would imagine. Not just that, but check out this one. Poll, Prince Andrew is more popular than the UK government? No way. That's fucked. I mean, I can't really see a poll here, but yeah, no, YouGov poll suggests that Prince Andrew is more popular than Keir Starmer. That's fucked. A literal pedo is more popular than the PM. Well, he's tied with the other literal king of pedos. Maduro seems like he'd be more popular than any of them. He is. Like, he's also a fascist, mind you. Maduro is a fascist. But, clearly, like, he has some things that, that the others don't have. Like, for example, the reason that we, like, kidnap Maduro seems to actually the dancing.
And, you know, he's a violent guy. He gets up there and he tries to imitate my dance a little bit. But he's a violent guy. And
says the people who have killed hundreds already. Remember, like, taking Maduro, the news is reporting this as there were no casualties. There was at least 80 casualties. Just so you know. Now, we're going to switch gears and talk about America. If you give me a second to get some links up, because there is some wild fucking shit. This is the part where the stream gets less fun. Because we're going to talk about Nazis and demons and all of that. Okay. So, to start off with, can somebody explain to me why this is a trend now? People are deep-faking themselves onto Epstein's jet. Do not ask me why. Quote, using AI to put yourselves on Epstein's jet goes hard. Why? Why? Sorry, he was an authoritarian. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't really care. Why are people doing that? That's fucked. Now, secondly, the answer of why they do that shit is because people are dumb and they do not think. They cannot think. Here is an example. I want you to consider, before we do this, what is, like, picture, you don't have to tell me, just picture in your mind your ideal future in 15 years. If you got to be in charge, think about and picture in your mind what the future looks like in 15 years. And then, let's listen to that same question being asked to conservatives, and I want you to compare your visual image of the future in 15 years that you would get to build with what these people plan. What's up, Barbara Lynn?
Question to conservatives, because I don't think they've thought this far ahead. Under conservatism, right? Like, you guys are working towards something. How does life look in 15 years if you get everything you want?
Keep the border secure.
Pathetically, even if we supported everybody.
Third world countries out of America. So
okay, hold on, Howie. If we deported literally everybody out of the country that was not here legally, if we just hypothetically played into your scenario for whatever fucking reason, what then? What next?
What?
If we deport everybody out of the country, have the strongest fucking borders in the world, what else? Like, does anything else change in life?
They're not going to get taxpayer.
What about us? Okay, so I'm asking you how our life changes in 15 years.
You're going to get the resources.
As in what?
Which resources? Listening to this reminds me of the time I debated some guy that told me that a tree that is a year old will make better wood than a tree that is 100 years old. So.
What do you mean, as in what?
Like
as
what?
Getting your roads, as better schools, getting your roads fixed, maybe better transportation.
So we would actually start having the government spend money on the people now? Because we just spent $40 billion in Argentina, like, I don't know.
Oh, I know, but, well, $1 billion is not that big a deal.
Okay.
God, they're so dumb. By the way, just for fun here, 1 million seconds is 11 days. Do you want to know how long of a time period 1 billion seconds is? It's 31 years. That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. 1 million seconds, 11 days. 1 billion seconds, 31 years. Link, please. Gotcha.
So we sent 40 of those to Argentina. Again, 15 years under conservatism, you don't see anything changing other than the fact that less people are here.
Why do you want to spend money on people from third world?
That wasn't my question simply at all.
They literally can't do it. They're incapable of it.
That's what I don't want him here. I don't want him here.
Well, hold on. Okay, don't cry. Don't get worked up. Don't get worked
You're
up.
asking me and I'm telling you.
Don't get worked up. Just hold on.
I'm not worked up.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean, if you want...
Start asking those questions.
It is really wild to me. Like, genuinely, I don't understand how, like, these people can't think at all. And then they look at stuff like this, and they're like, yeah, that's based.
Do not get free healthcare. You do not get free healthcare. Okay. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free healthcare?
Yeah, I do, actually.
These are the other important parts of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Next slide, please. No taxes on overtime. We've had this conversation before. You do.
Christopher Jablonte, it's literally all they care about. They have nothing beyond that. Mike Flood should do more town halls? Hell yeah, I agree. These idiots are very fun to watch when they're getting yelled at by their own constituents. You want to know what else is real funny? Like, I'm not a big fan of Thomas Massie. I like what he's doing with, like, the Epstein files and shit. This is the funniest tweet I've ever seen from him. Trump posted this, like, really, really long tweet. And Thomas Massie's like, I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you, though. Or sorry that happened. And 10 out of 10. That is the correct answer to this fucking geriatric dementia patient just, like, ranting and raving about nonsense. Yeah, I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you, though. We're sorry that happened. Whichever one. It really is that simple. Listen to the crowd, idiot. Well, he's not an idiot. He's just a demon, and he doesn't work for the crowd. Didn't they get... They told these guys to stop doing town halls, but they still need to every now and again because some of these people are up for re-election. And it seems like 2026 is definitely going to be like a real election. It's not going to be fair, but it might be free. I may have said this in a previous stream, but Republicans will let 100 sick 28-year-olds die because if it's because like one healthy 20-year-old might exploit it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, speaking of young women dying, happy 5-year anniversary of sobriety to Ashley Babbitt. 6 years maybe? I don't know. So continuing on, here is a U.S. senator in Louisiana saying some horrific shit. This is Senator, I believe, Bill Cassidy. Maternal death rate isn't that bad if you don't count black women, says Republican senator. So observation, I spent some time in what you would call right-wing spaces, and they would find the most ridiculous person from the left to object on the whole group of leftist people, and help by notice the leftist do the same, finding the most persons and doing... Well, the thing is, that's their whole job. That's why I don't engage in debate culture, Alex. Like, I don't do it because I don't care. Because it is their goal that I would be helping by debating them. There is one person that I would be willing to debate, and that would be for my own fun, and that would be Nick Fuentes. The United Soviet States of America, United Soviet States of Europe, basically, yeah. They installed a whole bureaucracy to means test everybody. That too costs, and not little, and genuinely, yeah. Like, it's going to cost us money to means test everybody. Why are you paying taxes? No taxation without representation is fucking key to, like, being an American. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm not allowed to vote. I'm not paying taxes. Fuck you. Try me. I'm not allowed to vote. Until you give me back the right to vote from overseas, I'm not paying you a dime. I would like to see you shred Asmongold. It would not be worth my time. Yeah, he's not worth my time and effort. You got it already. Plus Hassan, like, does that a lot. I keep saying, like, I don't know why Hassan has spent so much time making fun of Asmongold. I feel like it's boring, but, you know, to each their own. You want to know something interesting? Joe Lonsdale, one of the co-founders of Palantir. You want to know what he said recently? Replying to a tweet saying, commies aren't allowed in this hemisphere and every one of them should be blown up along with their gravesite. Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir, saying, exactly, what did you think founding Palantir was supposed to be about? So, Palantir exists to kill communists, says co-founder. I mean, it's not like we didn't know that, but, like, it's not just communists either. And then we have insane dudes like this. Just give me a second. What the fuck is wrong with these men? Like, this is what we're trying to create in America, by the way. What I'm about to read to you is absolutely insane and disgusting. It is also the current mainstream belief system that right-leaning men hold and want to apply in the United States. I want you to remember that. Quote, fun fact, Venezuela has 6 million women of childbearing age. Most of them are desperate for money. If we employ them as surrogates, we could easily make 60 million more Americans in one generation and fight poverty in the global south. Like, these people are on to Lebensraum, guys. Like, we're already at Lebensraum. Here's another one. Trade proposal. 100 white liberal women for every one Venezuelan woman. And I agree with Natalie Wynn here. It's interesting how many men don't even bother to repress the equivalents of war and rape. Yeah, well, they want to claim the women from the land that they think that they have conquered. That's what they're doing. Sounds a lot like Lebensraum. Yeah, that's what I said. We're already there. Mind you, it's not like we're not already doing it. ICE officer pleads guilty to sexually abusing Nicaraguan detainee for months while she was under his authority.
Processing Center and Basile pleaded. South Louisiana ICE Processing Center and Basile pleaded guilty to having sexual relations with a detainee. 56-year-old David Corvell pleaded guilty to 1 count of sexual abuse of a person in
for months, and you get 1 count? I guarantee you he got like a slap on the wrist too.
Federal custody. Prosecutors say Corville began a personal relationship with a Nicaraguan detainee.
A personal relationship. He was raping her for months as she is a prisoner under his authority.
With the detainee multiple times while she was under his authority. Corville could face up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000.
Yeah, he's not going to fucking prison. I guarantee you that. Oh, here's another ICE agent that got caught today on camera. Least surprising story of the day. I got one more that might be less surprising. You know what it sounds like to me? Is it sounds like the rambles of a bunch of incel fucking rapist oxygen wasters. True. Here's another one. This is an ICE agent that's off duty.
See this fucking shit. Dude. Where's that fucking tattoo? Let me see this fucking shit. Yeah, get the
there he is with his little his SS tattoo. He has a swastika somewhere else too. Yeah, this is the ICE agents.
Yeah, get the fuck in your truck and get the fuck out of this city, dog. Dude, I mean it, bro. Don't make me fucking get on the phone and start calling people, because I'll have half this fucking city come down here and take you the fuck apart.
Well, dude, I'm not even from nowhere.
Arborland, there are pro-abuse protests. Like, anytime we have a protest, they show up and do their own.
We just come
fuck
through.
Off, Nazi. Get in your truck and leave. Your whole fucking crew, Nazis?
No, man, we're not even from here.
Where the rest of them at?
Texas.
Yeah?
No, they're not.
Go back to fucking Texas.
Dude, I had this done years ago.
I know, and it's still on your fucking face,
because
bro.
I
seen that before. I seen your fucking eyes, dog. Get the fuck out of my city, or I will fucking end you. Look at this fucking Nazi piece of fucking shit walking down fucking Lindale, bro. Yeah, get the...
I did pronounce it Lebensraum, I think. I probably didn't pronounce it correctly. Where was this footage of this piglet taken? Minneapolis, actually. Minneapolis just a couple of days ago. Can you link that one? Absolutely. There you guys go. That would be the link for it. Yeah. By the way, this is how you treat Nazis. Like, they are cowards. Every single one of them, especially if they're on their own. But yeah, no, least surprising story of the day. You want to know what seems really bad? This happened this week, and this is the most fucking Russian shit I've ever seen in America.
This is not just a foreign issue, it's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against the Trump regime, the Trump administration that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plichta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video, and an officer tells Plichta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure to obey a lawful command from a police officer. You can see as she's taken away in that.
There was no command given. She is standing on a sidewalk, and they charged her for obstructing a roadway and not obeying orders. She was doing an interview, and then they arrested her, and they're taking her to a gulag. It's the narrative is bullshit. This is the most Russian shit the only thing these cops were missing was a fucking, face covering. I'm shocked that they showed their face.
Car. She was issuing a number of messages about wanting the U.S. to free Maduro. But again, she was taken away by police officers there, and you can see in this video, officers were closely following.
Wild how this is illegal in Sydney. Doing this right now. What's happening in this video is illegal in Sydney.
This procession in downtown Grand Rapids. We have reached out to GRPD for more information about the arrest.
More information. They arrested her for talking shit about the regime. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, I want to touch on Utah for a second, because it's back in the news. I haven't watched this, so let's watch it together. I want to see what they're going to say.
Utah has a plan to deal with homelessness, lining up behind President Trump's belief that people should not be allowed to sleep on the streets.
Already off to a horrific start. People are not allowed to sleep on the streets. Sure, you're building the first death camp in Utah. We're already aware of that. How bad is it, and how quick is it going to get here?
State officials say they're preparing to pull more than 1,000 homeless people out of Salt Lake City and into a sprawling campus on the outskirts of town.
A sprawling camp, as some others would say. A prison or a warehouse. A death camp. As I've said, we are now moving. We have the main camps. We are building processing centers in warehouses near train stations so that we can ship people across the country. The Utah camp is the first death camp. This one is specifically for the homeless. We said that there'd be doctors there and that they would stay there and live a happy life. I don't believe that one fucking bit. This is the first extermination camp. Why does YouTube never keep up with live? Every time I click the button, it forces me to stay behind, and it's only on Vizora streams. It's probably because I dual cast to Twitch, and Twitch is taking priority.
Supporters call it a place where people can get the services they need on the outskirts of town. Supporters call it a place where people can get the services they need. Critics call it a detention camp. Joining us now, New York Times reporter Ellen Berry, who filed that piece from Salt Lake City. So what exactly is this campus, this camp?
So for now, this is still in its planning stages. It hasn't been built, but it is definitely an effort to kind of operationalize the president's executive order from the summer, which said that overwhelmingly homeless people are suffering from mental illness or addiction, and overwhelmingly they should be put.
Well, I mean, it is the Mormon capital, but yeah, this isn't the Mormons doing though. The Mormons are all in favor of this. Critics, aka people who live in fucking reality. I mean, even most of them aren't living in reality. This is an extermination camp. By all means, this is a death camp.
Into long-term institutional care. That is
long-term institutional care, meaning you're not leaving. You're going to be here for a long fucking time. It's a death camp.
a reversal of our long-standing approach to homelessness, which has prioritized housing.
Which is not real, considering there are more empty houses in this country than there are homeless people, and the government would literally make a profit by giving it to them.
So this plan is a very large facility that would be devoted in large part to treatment of psychiatric and substance abuse.
So we're going to have a human testing section next to the death camp. That makes sense. I tried to tell my mom that they have a list of people who didn't vote for Trump and people who talk shit and Trump. Like, I mean, there's multiple lists. They're not going to send you to the death camp for, like, harboring a J.D. Vance meme. You're going to have a bit more than that. But, like, yeah. You don't build houses to fix housing prices. Well, no, they don't want to. We had this discussion in Australia. Because Australia has a housing crisis similar to 2008 in America. And I watched, a minister say, well, we don't want housing prices to go down. We just want them to slowly go up instead of go up really fast. That's what they want. They don't want to fix homelessness. We could fix homelessness and make money by giving everyone a free house. Fuck what I miss. I'm back. We're talking about the death camp, Buncor. They would if they wanted to. They don't want to. Yeah, well, for now. Give everyone a fucking house, goddammit. Yeah, literally. They're talking about, like, listen to this. Bun.
So this plan...
Yes, it's pro-capital. It makes them money. I'm aware. Listen to this bullshit.
Care. That is a reversal of our longstanding approach to homelessness, which has prioritized housing.
It's a joke.
So this plan is a very large facility that would be devoted in large part to treatment of psychiatric and substance abuse.
Remember how I made the video about how they're doing illegal human experimentation with Neuralink on ICE detainees in, Hawaii? You think they're not going to do stuff like that here? It's Utah. No shit.
So it's kind of, you could argue, bringing back mental health institutions, which had fallen out of favor. There are arguments
Insane
on both sides of
asylums.
this.
Let's build those. Sure. It's not like we'd have literal, like, I don't know, inpatient mental health treatment places that just cost a ton of fucking money to go to that you could just subsidize. I have literally explained step by step by step by step how you could fix drug addiction and homelessness in this country and make money doing it. They don't want to because they like pointing at them and getting you angry. Her internal monologue is basically, don't call it a death camp, don't call it a death camp, don't call it a death camp. Essentially, yeah. Wait, the camps that people concentrate in, maybe if we're lucky, they'll enhance their mental health through concentration. It's a good one.
It is not a good idea to let people suffer on the streets, that some people really do need help and they're not capable of getting themselves that help. And there are others that say if you force them into an institution or a camp or a campus, whatever you want to call it, and you don't allow them to leave, you violate their civil rights. You violate.
Notice how you're not allowed to leave is part of this, because that's not in the headlines.
Their free will. Do we have a sense of what this campus, if it's actually going to be staffed?
This campus. Just call it a camp, bitch.
If it's actually going to have the resources they need and how it's going to be funded?
There are lots of questions, and those are some of the most important ones. The proposal, as I understood it, is actually...
As a tradesman, fuck every person that works to build this place. Every carpenter, every laborer, every plumber, electrician, painter, millwright, worker, welder. Fuck them. I agree. I'm rebranding. I'm a civil lefts lawyer from year end. Based.
A hybrid with about 1/3 of the beds, a kind of low barrier shelter.
What was that? Let's try that again.
The proposal, as I understood it, is actually a hybrid with about 1/3 of the beds, a kind of low barrier shelter. So that would be presumably voluntary. And the other 2/3, 800 beds, would be involuntary. Either through civil commitment procedures or a diversion program through the courts. So you're sort of looking at a large facility that is...
You're looking at getting rounded up off the street with if you're homeless. Even if you're not homeless, they might round you up and put you in here too. It's about getting rounded up, saying, the government saying, you are too mentally unstable to take care of yourself. You are going to this camp and you are not allowed to leave until I say so. That's what this is. There is a section that people can go and leave from, maybe, so that they can keep some positive, like, optics. This is a death camp.
In part involuntary and in part voluntary.
Do we know who's paying for this?
We are.
It would have to be the Utah legislature, and that is a big question mark, whether there is...
No, it's not just Utah. The federal government will fund some of this because it's going to be a privately owned company. Like Core Civic, Geo Group, one of them are building this, so, you know.
Going to be willingness to fund it. And I think the fear is that if this ball gets rolling and the services are not funded, then it becomes much more of a warehousing type facility and less of a treatment facility. So,
I mean, just say the quiet part out loud, why don't you?
So this is what is not yet clear. It's expensive to create psychiatric beds, and across the country we have a shortage of
The legislature is one hell of a euphemism for the taxpayer. True. Yeah, no, they're being very, very bad at lying here. Like, they're being cagey. It's clear that they're afraid, and they have to word things very specifically, and they're not doing a good job of it.
Psychiatric beds for that reason. So expanding psychiatric treatment in this way would be extraordinarily expensive.
Yeah. Ellen Berry. Ellen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Joining us now, Utah State Senator. She was featured in that piece.
Let's hear what this demon has to say. Yes, the gas chambers are there for the best treatment available. Thank fuck we get to go first. Let me off the ride. Genuinely? Fun? I want to be first to, like, if we lose, I'd rather just not have to live through the cringe. I said this before, just send me to the camps already. I'm tired of the cringe. I don't want to have to see the president do a fucking hang-out face, alright? That's too far for me. Watching the goddamn Führer doing a hang-out face is too far for me. It broke me. What do the comments say about this? Let's have a look. We're not lab rats. This is terrifying. Straight Out Project 2025. If you believe these internment camps intend on properly treating and caring for people, you caught the cult's brainworms. These are, like, liberal bots, I think. I mean, like, this was 2 months ago, mind you. They're still building it. The Majority Report did a video on this a couple weeks ago. I've been trying to, like, warn you all that this is the first death camp. Oh, hold on. That's interesting. Sorry, we gotta watch this because I live in southern Australia, and there is apparently an extreme fire risk. Has it finally gotten hot enough that the eucalyptus trees are just gonna start exploding?
Expecting the maximums of Adelaide and Melbourne both to get to 42 degrees. It's currently sitting on 41 in Adelaide. For Melbourne, it's sitting on 37 degrees. But yeah, we are expecting the temperatures to continue to increase. It's a very, very hot and dry air mass.
Okay, thank God there's no fires near me. That one got put out. And that is in the hills. Cool, cool, cool. No fires near me. Can trees do that? Eucalyptus trees can. Eucalyptus trees, that, by the way, this is kind of why California always is on fire, because Australians imported eucalyptus trees, exported eucalyptus trees to California. And so, I mean, they just kind of spontaneously combust because they are filled with oil. Like, they are very oily trees. Lord Farquaad haircut on the reporter. True, 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 true. Other people they want to get rid of are going to get dumped in there too. You're not wrong. I'm going to get so fucking bent if you get to die in a fire before me. I won't. I don't live close enough to where the fires will likely start. Oh wait, you don't you extract the oil trees? We extract the eucalyptus oil from the trees, yeah. But, like, we have a lot of the trees, and if it gets hot enough, they go boom. They have these in California, too. This is very attention-seeking behavior for a tree. I know, right? It's the koala trees, too. Let's see. Can I find one, like, a video of one actually erupting? Oh, well, actually, I did find one that explains why California is the way it is.
With the fires raging over in California, did you know about the Tasmanian connection?
Big ass Tasmanian blue gum eucalyptus.
Yeah, eucalyptus trees and eucalyptus groves are everywhere in California.
Invasive Tasmanian blue gum eucalyptus.
I had a conversation with David Bowman, who's a pyrogeology professor and fire scientist at the University of Tasmania.
Okay, pyrogeologist is the sickest job title I've ever heard.
The people in California think of the blue gums. Many of them believe that they're native plants. They're so ubiquitous. And they were brought over to California during the Californian gold rushes from Australia because they grow quickly and then they've naturalized. They look slightly different to the blue gums.
But yeah, those trees spread fire. Like if one explode, well, even if one doesn't explode, let's just say like there's a regular fire and it's near one, that tree goes up like that, and then every other tree around it also goes up in flames. It's pretty wild, actually. Now, I got a few more things to show you, and most of these are more positive, actually. We've gotten through the demon section of today's stream, and so let's take a look at the other ones. Hey, wait a minute. No! That was my favorite one. I had a whole fucking thread of Turkish cats being security. That's so fucked. Hire me, Mr. Pyrogeologist. Yeah, no, it's genuinely. I would fucking love that job. That sounds amazing. Alright, well, we lost one of them. But here's some interesting news. I don't know how good of an idea this is, but pyrogeologist sounds like a thinly veiled attempt at saying I'm the guy in every riot who throws the Molotov but into the forest. Kinda true. This is good.
They're using Grand Theft Auto to teach people what their rights are if they run into ICE. I'm going to repeat that. They are using GTA RP servers to teach people what their rights are if they run into ICE.
So at this point, if there is no signed warrant by a judge, I think you all need to dismiss yourselves from my client's property.
On the one hand, we live in an incredibly dystopian world, but on the other one, it's incredibly cool to see gamers engaging themselves politically, especially considering that it's a space that despite
OMG, it's basically me. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one, Buncor. It's a good idea, actually, because gaming is not as heavily monitored as well. Like, Discord and all that, very heavily monitored. In-game chat, much less so.
being accessible to people from all types of community has remained this sort of apolitical space, or a space where people are afraid to be political, right? Immigrants Belong has been bringing know your rights education into games that people already play and streamers that people already watch, games like Fortnite and GTA, places where people spend a lot of time to teach them about their rights. Not only to teach people their rights as immigrants, but also to teach people how they can help their communities around them. They've also created this like play your role card.
Yeah, thank you, Jet. That tweet got deleted. So, like, there's nothing there. That's why I'm mad. Because the page doesn't exist anymore. I found a different one. We'll watch that still.
That you can get here for free in order to get people to engage in conversations around community and your role in your community. I already talked about these in a video before, but it's sort of drawing lines between the way that you interact in games online being the way that you can also talk about these things online and the way that you can then engage in person to help people in your community. You know, I live in NYC. ICE raids have ramped up a bit. I'm getting notifications about it. And knowing your rights is not just helpful for people who are immigrants, but for people who want.
Basically, yeah. And yeah, that shit isn't monitored at all for the most part, which is fantastic. Like, that reminds me to suggest check out to see if any of your local attorney/law firm offices are hosting any Know Your Rights events. True, yeah, that's important. Now, what else is important is not being spied on. And this is real, and I mean, technically it's easy to do. It's not illegal unless you do it to somebody else, but here.
On anyone using a microwave. So every microwave has a speaker which you can hack to turn into a microwave.
How you can spy on anyone using a microwave. So every microwave has a speaker which you can hack to turn into a microphone, and it's how the CIA captured El Chapo in 2016.
And it's scary how good the quality is.
So you start off by taking the speaker out of the microwave, connecting it to an Arduino, uploading this code to the Arduino, downloading this software, uploading this into Windows processor.
And now you have CIA level spyware in your microwave.
And don't worry, nothing's going to happen to you because you found this video on accident. And subscribe to my YouTube for.
So yeah, by the way, that is how that works. Your microwave can listen into your conversations. Yes, that is how we got El Chapo. Be aware of that. That is a thing that can be done. Not to mention that, like, this can also be done.
How you can spy on anyone using a laser. It's called a laser microphone, and it's how some people leaked NATO coordinates back in the 70s. So it works by shining a laser into a window, and voices inside of that room cause the window to vibrate, which causes equal vibrations in the reflected laser. And a sensor captures these reflected lasers and
Usually, if it's the feds, they use an infrared laser so that you can't physically see it with your eyes, but yes, this also works.
constructs all this into sound signal. And it's actually quite accurate. Take a listen. And if you're wondering how I learn all this, I just go to the CIA patent website and just copy the PDFs where they talk about the patents, and then just paste it into Palmy, where it gives me a really nice set of summarized notes, so I can go through as much knowledge as possible.
Yeah, don't do the AI part, but like,
I'd actually recommend
they do kind of publish all of this openly so that you can go check it out. So that, yeah, technically your microwave is spying on you. So is your smart TV. Anything that makes a noise has a microphone in it. Be aware of that. Any electronic that makes any noise, any sound, a beep, your washing machine, it's spying on you. It has a microphone. It's not always on, but it can be. Here are some fucking awesome phone backgrounds. Yeah, no, I like that. You interact with ICE in public, ask if you are free to leave. If so, you may calmly walk away. You have the right to refuse consent to a search. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to discuss your immigration status with anybody, such as about where you were born, whether you were a citizen, or how you were entered the country. If you have a valid immigration document, you should show them. Never provide fake documents. If you're arrested, say that you wish to remain silent until speaking to a lawyer. My whole thing is I would say my name, I would say my social security number, and then I would say lawyer. And that's it. Those are the three things that I would say. And every time they spoke to me again, I would just repeat what I just said. Is my name, my social security number, and my, lawyer. Does the microphone work if I unplug it? No, but, I mean, technically it could, but it would be very difficult for them to do that. What is your address? I'm not gonna say, what are you talking about? What is my address? No, this is my name, this is my social security number, I want my lawyer. Lawyer at Lawyer Road on Lawyer. Exactly. That is the correct answer. Don't fucking talk to these people. Now, this I found very funny. I don't think this is real, but it very likely could be. Uber CEO, how can we increase our profits? McKinsey consultant, imagine Uber, but with no car. Walking buddy. Did they not already reinvent the bus, by the way? So, like, and also the fact that it's a McKinsey consultant, spot fucking on. Alright, now let's look at some pretty cats. So, yes, the cats of Istanbul are legendary. There are hordes of them. They are my favorite part of Istanbul. Every time I've gone there, you can just go to a park and you can just lay on the ground and go pss, 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 pss. There'll be like 50 cats on you. And they're all so beautiful. Like, it just makes me happy. The city of Istanbul is chock full of cats, with some estimates putting the number of stray felines at 125,000. The citizens of Istanbul do not see this as a problem and welcome feline friends with open arms. There are automated vending machines for cat food and dog food, because there's also a bunch of stray dogs. That, like, the animals, like, press a button and then food comes out. Also, like, shopkeepers always put out food and water. Basically, every shop has its own cat. God, that's adorable. Look at that little guy. Yeah, I learned this before. Operating system set space settings. I accidentally plugged my pink mic cord into the speaker output and the green speaker into the mic output. Oof, oof, oof. Shut the fuck up, Friday. I know what that is. Hell yeah. This is what you do if you are being detained by any law enforcement.
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, and we are here with Michael Rappaport, and we are going to review that script for you. Big brother, what do you say when the cops first pull you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when they start asking questions?
Not discussing my day or night, sir.
And if they keep asking questions?
Politely say, am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
Sir, I invoke the fifth.
And then Michael Rappaport, what do you do?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know anything about these people. If you say we don't fuck with them, we don't fuck with them. This advice is good advice.
Simple, 25 words, politely, respectfully. Review it not only on Shut the Fuck Up Friday, but every day.
And don't forget to shut the fuck up.
I agree. Don't forget to shut the fuck up. Here's some other cats. Look, we had a pretty dark stream. I mean, there was some funny stuff, but like, you know, we gotta kind of chill it out. Listen, I'm still broken from watching the Fuhrer doing a hag-out face. I can't get that out of my head and I want to burn it. Wait, isn't Rappaport the Zionist scumbag? I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Just the middle guy sucks. He's a washed racist actor. Makes sense. So, cats just hang out in the shops and nobody cares. Just chilling. This is at the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, I believe. Little cat houses that like literally have real estate ads on them. We have like Istanbul has monetized stray cats. We have fucking real estate ads on the mini little cat houses that are around the place. That's a good statue. Like, look at these guys. This is why it's my favorite city to go to. Zora, they're the managers and you should respect their authority. The cats? Nah, sorry. I'm kind of, not so great with authority, if you haven't noticed. Generally. Not my, cup of tea, let's say. Only he'd shut the fuck up. True. Say it louder for the people in the back. Also true. Okay, I found a cute video. Look at this guy. Like, this is just the best human experience you can have.
Sarı. Hadi oğlum. Kalk kalk kalk. Kalk. Yaş mamamızı aldık. Gel. Kahvemizi aldık. Gel. Hadi. Hadi gel. Gel, suyunu da değiştirdim ben. Yağmur yok, bir şey yok. Leş gibi oldu çünkü suyum. Bekle. Ben şu kahvemi koyayım. Yaş mamamı koyayım. 2 dakika suyunu tazeleyeyim de geleyim ben. 2 dakika suyunu tazeleyeyim de geleyim.
Like, there's people that just go around and they put food out for the cats. They leave water out for the cats. Like, the cats are part of the city. Have you seen the video where someone throws a snowball at him and yells, "God, do you ever shut the fuck up?" Based. Alright guys, I'm gonna try and not die from the heat and overheat my computer because it's like 113 degrees right now outside. If I had a 3-hour conversation with a mute person today, sat down, wrote shit back and forth on paper, that shit was magical. That sounds amazing, by the way. Oh, by the way, guys, good advice for you. If you ever feel like lonely or bored, go talk to homeless people. I get genuinely. If there are homeless people around you and you are bored or lonely, or even if you're not, go and spend some time hanging out with the homeless. Because they are the least brain-rotted people that you're gonna find. It's actually very refreshing. I highly recommend it. Good luck on the exploding trees. Thankfully not in my vicinity. GN is live. I want to rate him again. I don't think I set it up this time. And I don't think I can while I'm on stream. Hold on, let me try. No, I don't think I can. Oh wait, redirect. There it is. You got the link for me, chat? Oh, meow, 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 meow. Let me find Poppy for you guys before I go. And then we'll raid. We'll raid on Twitch and YouTube. Nah, she's in the air conditioning. I'm not gonna pick her up. She is asleep in the corner. Damn, all the wildlife in Australia wants to kill even the trees. You know, I really get annoyed when Americans say that because you guys have far more dangerous wildlife. In Australia, the only wildlife you really have to worry about are spiders and snakes, and you're not going to deal with the dangerous ones unless you're walking around in the bush. They're not, like, that much of a problem, especially if you live in a city. But you do realize we don't have mammal predators beside a dingo, which is not that bad. Like, I've pet a dingo. It's licked my nose before. And they're only in Western Australia because we built the Great Dingo Wall. There is no predator animals on this continent besides that. Oh, hello! Hello, hello, hello. Oh, cousin. No, the cousin. Hi. Meow. There you go. Spiders equals cute? Fuck no. I hate that shit. I have seen someone pick up a funnel web spider directly with their hands, which was insane. But, I mean, they lived. So, there's that. I heard drop bears are truly the worst time. No, drop bears are a serious issue to the point where we have to... Hold on. We're not going yet. I gotta show you drop bears. Have a lovely night, CD Unk. We had to institute a program for people to wear helmets because of drop bears.
So Deb's going to be holding a drop bear. She's got the drop bear suit on.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Well, at the moment, okay, because there's nothing near me, but it is a bit like a Batman suit.
See,
So
drop bears are kind of like koalas, except far more angry and dangerous. It's kind of like how magpies have swooping season and just like chase and cut people unless you bribe them. Like, I have befriended the magpies, and so they don't bother me.
Okay.
So, drop bears are a close cousin of the koala, but they're actually really vicious. So, it's sort of like a dingo and a normal domestic dog. They're bigger, they've got longer claws. They've actually got really small fangs, and the interesting thing about the fangs is they have a really mild venom. It's not like a snake venom that can make you really sick, but it just causes a lot of really local irritation. So the third most common injury that we see in tourists in Australia is actually from drop bear attack.
Hoop snakes are a problem too, but less so.
So here we go.
I'm getting something to cover my eyes as well.
So James Cook, one of the early
They're funny.
explorers who first came to Australia, he actually coined the term. So he was there with Joseph Banks, and what they found was that these things kept dropping out of the trees and attacking them, and they thought they looked like little bears, so they were just like, we'll call it a drop bear, and so the name's stuck. But technically...
Horses and cows combined in just a year have killed more Aussies than all snake/spider bites in the last 82 years. True! True! This guy is such a fucking legend. I love this shit.
It's actually just a subspecies of the koala.
The venom is chlamydia. Only koalas have chlamydia, not drop bear.
It looks, visually, it looks very like a koala.
Yeah, like a wilder version. Yeah. So if you look at, I won't come too close, but I'm just going to point. So the difference between this and a normal koala, firstly, you're going to see the size. Then if you can see he's got those black hairs that are almost like bristles. They actually come out a lot further from the fur, so they're really, really coarse.
Okay.
Keep your hands down nice and low.
Okay.
All right, just gonna flat hand.
Okay.
Oh, he's fucking yours now.
Okay.
Yeah, just
okay.
No fast.
They're not the same thing. This drop bear is just calm. They sedated it, I think. You also have to worry about emus. Look, just because we lost 2 wars to emus does not mean we have to worry about them. You gotta worry about the cassowaries. No, they're super different. This one is dangerous. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice and steady with the bear.
Yeah.
Keep them calm.
Yep.
Everybody looks very worried about this. I'm trying not to be worried because I'm being told that he can sense if I'm worried.
Yeah.
We've been told that this is quite a dangerous bear that's been known to attack.
Wait, you went to war with emus twice? The Great Emu War. Let me show you the Great Emu War. The Great Emu War was fought between November 2nd and the 10th of December in 1932. It was the Australian Army led by Major Gwynedd Purvis Wyn Aubrey Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. That is the fucking insane name. And 986 emus were confirmed killed, but minimal impact on the overall, population. We failed both times. We had mounted cavalry with machine guns, and the emus just started fucking zigzagging, and yeah. The farmers' difficulties were worsened by the arrival of approximately 20,000 emus. We killed 986. So we lost that war. How many human casualties? None. We didn't lose any people. But we lost the war. And then we did it again. And that time we got less emus. He claimed 986 confirmed kills with 9,860 rounds at the rate of exactly 10 rounds per confirmed kill. In addition, he claimed 2,500 wounded birds that died from their injuries. This is the real shadow government and also the emus. I thought it was the cassowaries. Because, I've always said that the cassowary is just the general of the emu army. I mean, honestly, the Great Emu Strategic General is a master strategist. I don't blame you for losing either. Genuinely, yeah. That's why I want to, team up with them. So in classic colonial style, what was labeled a war was actually a massacre. Well, yeah, we were trying to population cleanse the emus, and we lost. A case could be made that you had 2 casualties in the emu war. I will make that case then. We had 2 human casualties in the emu war. To be fair, in the end, we won because we domesticated them and now we farm them. Should we ally ourselves with the emus against the fascists? I've said before, if I was ever going to take over Australia, the drop bears would be the special forces, my emus would be the cavalry, I would ride on the back of a battle cassowary with plate armor that's, sky blue with gold trim, just to match the cassowary's colors. We would have, the emus would be infantry, the dingoes would be cavalry. We would break the dingoes out of Western Australia, bring down the Great Dingo Wall, and, drop bears can drop behind enemy lines, we can throw the hoop snakes forward. The magpies are our air force, by the way. They will swoop and fuck everybody up. They're like a A-10, basically. The magpie is the equivalent of the A-10 warthog. My favorite movie about Australia is Wake in the Fight, as someone who likes to drink This Was a Nightmare and Reality is Hell, and awesome movie. Never seen it. I am sure Teddy Roosevelt was jealous of not participating in this war. Almost certainly. Yes, please, free the emus, free the dingoes. I want to free the dingoes. Those are fucking cute. I want one, first of all, but they are lovely. I have had one kiss my nose at Steve Irwin Zoo. Sci-fi idea, Planet of the Apes, but emus. One could write some velociraptors as stuff with them. Well, I believe that they're kind of descendant from the velociraptors because they kind of act the same. But have you guys ever seen a cassowary? Because this is similar to an emu, but they are smaller and far more dangerous and hateful. Okay, now that's just fucking... My brain is broken from Twitter, because I saw that and I was like, someone's gonna comment on this saying would.
Did you know there's a bird so prehistoric looking, it'll make you question the timeline? Meet the southern cassowary, a living wonder that blurs the line between beauty and danger.
This is the general of the emu army. Yes, they will charge your car.
With jet black... With jet black plumage, a helmet-like casque, and vivid blue skin, these birds are a living masterpiece in the avian kingdom. And despite their large size, these birds can sprint up to 30 miles per hour.
30 miles per hour, guys!
Through dense forests.
The suicide bombers of the AU Wildlife Army. These things have like a fucking Sandevistan. They can run 30 miles an hour. Jesus Christ, no wonder this is the general.
Yet, their uniqueness goes beyond speed. They're armed with a powerful weapon, a dagger-like middle toe capable of delivering lethal kicks. But wait, there's more to their story. After laying a clutch of eggs, the female cassowary leaves the nest, passing on the duty of incubating the eggs and caring for the young solely to the male. The female will then move on to another male and repeat the process. It's a distinctive parenting strategy that showcases the resilience and adaptability of these remarkable birds.
Did you know there's a bird?
They're awesome birds. They're just absolutely fucking terrifying. Oh, here's a cassowary attack. Oh yeah, no, birds are descendants of dinosaurs. We know that dinosaurs had fucking feathers and shit now. Like, that's what they looked like. This is a modern velociraptor. Girl boss ass species, that's also true.
If he runs at me, I'll run inside.
Those claws will, like, impale you.
Hello.
Shit, that hit a kid. Jesus Christ. This is why I have an internal fear of birds. Yeah, look, they're not exactly, they'll stalk you. Look at this. Look at this headline. Cassowary stalks hikers in Queensland's north. I can't handle a cricket. You're going to have to protect me from the fucking harbingers of death. I can do that, don't worry. I just came in, but you have to remember one of the craziest animal facts are, because they've barely changed at all, crocs, gators in general are literally the most closely related to any bird, including emus and cassowaries, than their own fellow reptiles, so gators are more of a cousin to emus than a lizard. That is true, Sir Brewski, that is true. However, like, cassowaries are absolutely fucking velociraptors. You know, these are far scarier than ostriches. They will stalk you.
Have escaped a nerve-wracking encounter with one of the world's deadliest birds in North Queensland. They came face to face with a cassowary and it had no intention of moving on.
Just go slow. Cassowaries are called the most dangerous bird on the planet.
When you go out into nature, it's just like, no, this is my house. I'm not fucking moving for you.
And this group of hikers has one stalking them.
He's still following.
On a walking track in the Atherton Tablelands south of Cairns, the bird comes within metres. Highly unusual behaviour. Experts say it's developed this habit because people feed it. So this one is looking for lunch. But this group need to make sure they don't get in its way.
Don't touch it, Danny. Just let him go.
There's roughly 200 cassowary attacks recorded every year in 2000.
200 a year! Okay, this is the most dangerous animal in this country. It's not snakes or spiders, it's this thing specifically.
2019, one killed a man in the US. Their kicks are deadly because of their huge claws.
Running at.
I guess the guy was in a zoo where he got killed in America by one?
Cassowary attacks recorded every year. In 2019, one killed a man in the US. Their kicks are deadly because of their huge claws.
Running at you and kicking you and jumping at you.
Normally shy, those looking for food can become aggressive. This group doing the right thing. They stay calm and walk away.
Obviously, it was like a wild animal, so we didn't want to get too close or try to, annoy it in a way.
It takes 7 unnerving minutes for this unwelcome guest to take the hint.
So yeah, if you're gonna be scared of Australian animals, be afraid of the cassowary. But I'm gonna show you my favorite Australian animal, if I can remember what it was called, because these are the cutest animal in the world. Quokka. Quokkas are also native to Australia. This is the cutest animal in the world.
The quokka is a small marsupial, native to Western Australia. The biggest population is off the coast on Rottnest Island. It is often referred to as the happiest animal in the world, due to its cute and seemingly smiling face. Quokkas are about the size of a domestic cat, about the size of a domestic animal in the world, due to its cute and seemingly...
What is that? That's not fair. That's not fair. I've also heard you don't want to swim or wade with a kangaroo. Kangaroos can depend. Like, I have fed a kangaroo's joey in the pouch before. But also, like, you know, they'll fuck you up if you piss them off. Like, they're reasonable animals, though. One's like a squirrel combined with a teddy bear. Yep. And these things aren't afraid of humans. Like, they want to come and hang out with you.
Smiling face. Quokkas are about the size of a domestic cat. They have round, compact bodies, short legs, and a small head. Their main food source is leaves. They are listed as a vulnerable species due to habitat loss and predation by introduced species.
Sassy Salsa, kangaroos are essentially entirely muscle. Like, they have all fucking muscle. Zora, all of your animals are fucking fake. I refuse, it's too cute. When you come to Australia one day, I'm gonna bring you to a zoo that has a quokka that you can, like, hold and pet. Like, there's a nice area for them. And I'm gonna show you that. Because they're lovely. I've never been to Western Australia, where, like, these are native to, which kind of sucks. I've seen them myself already. Rude. Quokka moms are just the best moms, though. I'm in danger. Time to ejecto-ceto my mom and let it distract the predator. I can always make a backup. True. Muscle, bone, tendon, and a little fur. That's it. It's true. I refuse. I was on drugs. A lot of drugs. No, it's real. Before you get your hopes up, not suitable as pets? Yeah, absolutely, not suitable as pets. However, like, neither are raccoons, and in America we're finding that city-dwelling raccoons are trying to domesticate themselves. Do not have a pet raccoon. It will fuck you up. Raccoons can remember and hate you. Like, they can hold a grudge and enact revenge. They have that capability. Their mental state can remember you pissing them off. Even if you did nothing, like, in your mind, like, you just don't know what you did. You pissed it off. It now hates you. And it will take revenge. Natural Habits did a nice short about quokka babies being abandoned during a scary robbery and being adopted by the robber. Oh, that's cute. Like crows and ravens can remember faces. True. Same with magpies, by the way. The reason I don't get swooped during magpie season is because I feed the magpies cat food anytime I see them, all of them. And the magpies are interesting because let's say you live in one area and you befriend the magpies of your area. Those magpies will inform magpies of other areas to not swoop you too. It's wild. Sounds grudge is a sign of intelligence. Oh, well, raccoons are incredibly intelligent. Hold on. Here. I'll show you the clip.
Yep, raccoons are domesticating themselves and it's starting to get a little bit weird. Next time you see a raccoon in your yard, take a close look. They might not look like they should. Raccoons are experiencing domestication syndrome when they're in close contact with people. This is the term used to apply to the weird changes we see in animals that are domesticated. In dogs, we're really familiar with this. We'll see floppy ears, interesting coloring, curly tails, and they start to look very juvenile. They develop shorter snouts. This was previously studied in foxes. Yes, around 60 years ago, a Russian scientist decided to want to figure out if we could domesticate a fox to try to understand our relationship with dogs. Also, you can still get a domesticated fox, although they aren't exactly dogs. They're more like cats, and it's difficult to train them to use a litter box, but you can have one. Animals that were selected for traits that made them better with humans also ended up having a dog-like appearance. They retained juvenile characteristics, developed a rounder face.
I would love a fox,
This was the
but there are a
first
lot
fox
of
that showed floppy ears. They also bred foxes that were less comfortable with people, and they ended up getting longer legs and longer teeth. They ended up looking less juvenile, and these were traits associated with personality. Now, this is far from the first time it's happened, and it certainly does seem weird. There's some genetic program for being docile. And we have certainly seen the opposite with dingoes that used to be dogs and are now just kind of feral, kind of wild. There's also an American dingo, if you didn't know that.
What's their name again? I'm subscribed to their channel. Gabriel Torch. I've seen this on TikTok, but not on YouTube. But, you know, also I'll subscribe because good creator. She should add the green streak, and the green screen is adding to her hair. Yeah, actually, it looks good.
And then for some animals, they just kind of wreck the program, like pigs. They're kind of cuddly herd of pigs. Did you know that they
I thought this was supposed to be about raccoons. Come on, where's the raccoon bit? All the way at the end?
That's conned us into this situation, but back to raccoons. In close contact with people, raccoons are selecting for domesticated traits. This could be that they're just more comfortable being around people, and if they run and scatter when there's people everywhere, they're not going to be very fit. It could also easily be that people feed them so gosh darn often.
That's how the algorithm works, Christopher DeBlante. You watch me, and so the things that I watch affect things that you watch. However, like, I just try not to engage with the algorithm as much as possible. I want to watch this whole video, link please? Sure.
Often the ones that are better with people are just the ones that are capable of reproducing. This means that raccoons are getting shorter snouts, fatter faces, shorter legs, and you're more likely to see ones of unusual color if they're around people. There's a few reasons for that, not all of them good. One of them might just be genetic diversity issues. And while, yeah, there are people that breed raccoons as pets, I really don't recommend it. They have the devil's mischief in them. Have you seen those paws? They can open cabinets. They can open doors. What do you have?
They have opposable thumbs. They can literally open doors. They can break locks. They can pick locks. Also, a lot of foxes tend to communicate loudly and with pee, so you know it can be quite non-house friendly. Yeah, they're very loud. I didn't know about the pee, but that makes sense. Quite a bit, actually. And, okay. I think we are going to do a raid. Let's see who's on. Raccoons aren't domesticating themselves. We've been feeding them for like 100 years and we're back. Well, so like, it is both the effect of us, but they are domesticating themselves in that like they want to spend more time around us because we give them free shit. Living in New York City, I have some raccoons break into locked buildings like regularly. Yeah, that's what I mean. They are smart. Do you want something like an animal that can break into buildings to be your pet that you might accidentally piss off? Ooh, Kat Abuzala's streaming. Let's raid her. Alright, we're gonna raid Kat Abuzala. And on YouTube, we are going to raid GNN. So I will see you guys next time. I will try and stay safe from the heat. Love you all. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.